This is my dogwood that I got from someone who wanted to throw it away. I planted it a while back, and then we had a severe drought and I didn't water it, so it kind of got crispy. You can see some of the leaves kind of browned out. So I started watering it. I added drip irrigation to it to make sure that it got regular water, and hooked that to my irrigation controller. Since I've done that, these new leaves have popped out. Not a lot of them, but a few, enough to be hopeful. So what I did this morning was I mixed up some RGS, which is root growth stimulant. It's a mix of humic acid and sea kelp and fulvic acid. And I also added in microgreen, which is basically a little shot of potassium, iron, and some other micronutrients to help boost the tree's system, to hopefully help it recover. And then the other thing I added was the 402 Flora Green, which is a tree and shrub fertilizer. It's supposed to be really good. I've had real good success with it on a lot of the plants out here this year. So I figured it couldn't hurt now that I have regular water. I went ahead and added that in with the drip system running. So we'll kind of keep an eye on it and see what happens. As to an update on the palm tree that I used Flora Green and some other stuff on, it did not make it. It was too far gone. In actuality, it was about dead when I planted it, and I just was kind of hoping for the best. But one thing I've noticed with sable palms is that whenever they start looking about 75% dead, they typically do not make a turnaround. So just keep that in mind. If you ever get a free palm tree that's about 75% dead, chances are you're wasting your time to try to save it. But I'm very hopeful on this dogwood because it came back with just a little bit of water. It was just mainly severe drought stress. So hopefully it'll bounce back and make it, and we'll have a beautiful dogwood in the spring of next year. This area here is a fire pit that I made with reclaimed stones. The customer was upgrading their patio, and so they wanted to haul off all the old stones that were scattered throughout the yard. So what I did was I built this fire pit here just out of regular blocks, and kind of worked my way starting around it and worked my way outward until I got as big as I could get with the blocks that I had. And I just kind of made it up as I went along, really. Got a nice little row of bricks in there, just some odd little designs. Turned out really nice. I always get compliments on it. A little sitting area. My wife picked out the chair there, and some of the other stuff is just reclaimed stuff as well. This fireplace actually come out of my dad's house. This little whatever you call that there, that section there. He upgraded his, and so I took that out and built me a block fireplace and added a couple little cooking grates in there, and so I use that to cook on while we sit around the fire. It's kind of a mess out here right now. It needs to be cleaned up, and I got stuff needs burning, and it could probably use a pressure washing, but I just figured it was close over here by my dogwood tree, so I'd give you a shot of this. But it's amazing what you can do with reclaimed material if you just take your time and you're willing to work at it. And you know, everything doesn't have to be brand new all the time. Sometimes the best things are things that people were just gonna get rid of or didn't want anymore. It just takes a little while to figure out what you want to do with it. This is kind of my staging area over here. with other miscellaneous things that I've picked up. See, I've got some more little square pavers over here. They're kind of in the holding area, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with them. A couple of pieces of PVC pipe. That fence right there, that was taken down off a customer's yard. It was getting a new fence put up. Just kind of use that as a barrier to hide my my reclaimed material. Down here we've got some 4x4 pieces. That one's got a receptacle on it. We got a big drain pipe here. Another piece of drain pipe there. Some old solenoid valves off a sprinkler system. The valves work fine. They just had to be removed in order to do some other work, and it was going to be about impossible to put them back in the place they were, so I just kept those, and we added some new ones back in a location that made a lot more sense after the repairs were made. Reclaimed drain box right there. That one there, you know, you can use it to drain water off, or your driveway, or places holding water. Channel drain right there, that's just a piece of channel drain. You can put that against your sidewalk, driveway, wherever's holding water that you need to divert. Over here I've got a sand filter that was basically removed when a customer bought a new house. They removed that sand filter and upgraded it to a water softener system, so I brought that. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I've got it if I need it. Over here is kind of my little holding area too. That's my little micro sprayer. I've got it spraying in my little holding area for my plants. These plants here are all reclaimed plants that are kind of in my little holding area till I decide where they're going to go. Got some sago palms, some daylilies. That there's actually a volunteer crepe myrtle that kind of just popped up, and then I've got some variegated grass and some. Nope, I do not have any variegated grass over here. I have regular mondo grass, which is the green thin bladed one that spreads, and then I have another crepe myrtle there that's kind of a volunteer. It's really about time to plant most of this stuff. I should have planted it by now, but I just haven't had time or figured out where I want to put it. And then over here, my Encore azalea. Everybody tells you Encore azaleas are really nice. They bloom multiple times throughout the growing season, and this one actually bloomed in the spring, and now it's blooming again in the fall. So they actually do bloom multiple times. And this one has had a little bit of Flora Green fertilizer, and that's about it for this year. Kind of testing that out to see how it did. I think it did a good job. So it's not had a lot of granular fertilizer or anything like that this year. Just strictly the Flora Green applications that I did on it, probably 2 to 3 times. Got another one over here going toward the fire pit. Another Encore azalea blooming. And this little walkway here goes to the fire pit, and all of these border grass in here and over here, all of those came from small little pieces that were dug up. They were probably about that big, and the roots were probably about that big, and I just planted them all up and down the walkway, and they have taken off. Those are on drip tube as well. These stepping stones here that go out to the fire pit, those are all part of the reclaimed patio pavers that I got whenever I did the fire pit, or a few other ones that I may have picked up from other places. But it does the job. Like I say, it's not brand new, but I mean, you're going to walk on them. They serve the purpose. And then that's kind of from the fire pit area looking back. That's my wood shed there. I do some woodworking in there, and things like that. That's all made from reclaimed material as well. You can probably tell that by looking at it, but it's rustic looking. It fits in good with the theme out here, which is kind of just country, rural, outdoorsy, old-timey feel. Over the past weekend, I trimmed up all these little trees out here. I took a pole saw and limbed all these up all throughout the yard, all the way around the property. Kind of lifted the limbs up high as I could reach with about an 8-foot pole saw. And what that does is it lets more light in for the sod and also for the plants. It kind of thins it, keeps the air flowing. But as you can see, there's still plenty of leaves up there for shade and all. And right here on that tree, the limbs were down to about right here. You were having a duck going under them with the mower. So those got limbed up nicely where you can get under there. This grill right there, that was actually my granddaddy's grill that was passed down to my dad, who basically got tired of grilling, so he passed it down to me, and I've enjoyed grilling on that. It's what is that thing? It's old. It's like maybe like a 50s or 60 model Patio Pal, I think it is. But it's done a great job over the years, and really neat whenever you get things like that are passed down. And you know, other people have brand new ones that they cook on, and they still prefer the way the meat turns out whenever it's done on that grill. There's something about the way that one cooks. But that's about it for now. Just was out here in the yard this morning, plundering around. Decided to do some nutrients on the dogwood tree and said, well, why don't I make a video and kind of let people see this side of the property and let them know what I've been up to lately. So that's kind of what's going on there. A lot of things, a lot of projects going on out here that is still in the works. Still working on it, still trying to make time to do everything and work my regular job, which is at Adams Nursery and landscaping, and also working on fertilization and weed control and all that for other clients. This here's my crepe myrtle tree, just another quick update on it from when I did the crepe myrtle trimming video earlier this year, and I've used the Flora-Green on it as well, and it is still blooming. It has been blooming forever this year. So I don't know if that's the Flora-Green or if it's just a good season for crepe myrtles, but it has done exceptionally well this year on the Flora-Green. And also it's been sprayed with imidacloprid and bifenthrin as insect control. So that's kind of just a few updates around the property. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.